Hey, 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 we are live. Julie, this is Shireen from Real Talk, Master Sales Trainer and Speaker, and I'm so excited about this special guest. Did you know you was going to get that type of introduction?
I didn't. I feel a little hug in my heart.
Oh. I'm so excited for several reasons. So, Julie is a legend in the world of sales. We know each other from Clear Choice days, right? And I remember, I have to share this slight personal story. I remember seeing you walk on the stage and get all these awards. And I was like a newbie, like, oh my God, like I want to be her when I grow up. You don't know that, but that was the truth.
I love it. Now I want to be you when I grow up. Role reverse. No. Just kidding.
And now you have evolved. You transitioned beautifully from being at Clear Choice to being upper level executive VP of medical memory. And in a few moments, I would love to share what it is you do for medical memory, because Real Talk now, because of you and the amazing work that you've done for medical memory, how you've elevated this company, I am now able to offer my clients the opportunity to record live consultations safely using the HIPAA compliant software that Julie and her team has really just exploded in the recent years. So Julie, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It is awesome to have you. So if you could share briefly, because we're going to kind of jump in briefly for anybody that's watching this as a dental professional, elective medical doctor, and you're like, you know, I'm tired of doctors telling me they're ready to move forward with treatment, and then I see them walking out the door of the treatment coordinator saying they want to go home and think about it. They're at a deficit because they don't see what's going on in the room. Share with me a little bit about what you're doing now and what is so awesome about video recording.
Yeah. You know, what's really cool about this technology is I was a trainer and worked with consultants at Clear Choice a long time ago. And we were looking for a tool where we could get better insight to just what you were saying, better insight to what our consultants were doing. And without always sitting in the room with them. I mean, simply doing that and sitting in the room changes the dynamic completely for that patient. And if you're a doctor or you're a manager, that's not even always possible. And so I think one of the cool things is, you know, we were looking for a tool to be able to get insight and to see into our consultants' practice. And I ended up meeting with Dr. Porter, who had built this awesome technology, and he was using it actually in hospitals. He was using it for neurosurgery clients, oncology clients, orthopedic surgery, where patients wanted more insight to what was happening in their clinic room. Mm-hmm. And so what we did is we took this tool that was already existing, that was already providing transparency into a patient's world and a patient's practice, and said, how can we make this a useful tool for doctors to be able to get transparency into their consultants and to what their consultants are doing? Mm-hmm. And so rather than medical memory is built to record and share videos with patients, in the training space, in the performance space, now it's built to record and share videos with the doctor, the trainer, the manager, or even with a consultant themselves. And so it's evolved to a space where it's an app. You can download it on any smart device, any iPad, any iPhone, anything. Go record your consultation. And what's really cool about when we're partnering with someone such as you is you can get this consultation recorded and you can have an expert coach or expert trainer be able to give insight into what's happening all across the country. And I think that's one of the coolest things that's really evolved from it, is not only are you able to record yourself, watch yourself, have your doctor be able to see what's going on, but you know, you can say, wow, we can get the best of the best to watch my consultant and see the things that they see that maybe they could improve upon. Oh. And so that's what's cool about how that's evolved. But what's cool, it's an app. You download it, you can watch, you can record. It's the simplest way to get insight to what's happening and provide transparency to the way that your consultants and your doctors even communicate.
Yeah, I love that. And one of the things we were talking about just before we went live is what it felt like when this was first introduced to us in corporate sales, working for Clear Choice, and they were smart for implementing this, is at first there's this feeling of like, I don't want to be judged. I don't want to hear myself on camera. I don't want to look at myself. I look fat. Why am I doing this? Like we're all our own worst critic. But then I think that there was this like gradual change that we noticed where, because we were able to see the improvement and we thrived from it. I know for me personally, like I went through a phase that I had to watch myself on video because it was like the blind spots, like facial expressions. Like there were some facial expressions that I was doing and I thought, oh my God, am I crazy? Like, am I really doing that? And so it's not necessarily punitive. Would you agree with that? Like people don't need to be afraid
100%.
that they're being watched.
And that's the thing is, that's universal. That's not like, oh my gosh, now all of a sudden I'm being recorded and I have someone training me and I'm nervous. Everyone is recorded. That starts recording is nervous. And I think as our culture is shifting to one that is in video and needing to be adaptable to video and live feeds and those type of things, we are starting to get just more comfortable in general. Mm-hmm. But I think that the thing is always be like, everyone feels uncomfortable. That's just human nature. And so once you get past that and see, wow, now I can actually see myself honestly and see some of the things that maybe I didn't realize. I think one of the biggest things for me is I still do. I talk too fast. And it wasn't until I saw it, outside looking in, because in the moment I'm like, I know I'm talking too fast, but it can't be that bad. But then I watched it and I wasn't in the moment with the patient, but I was like seeing it from the outside perspective that I really saw the implications that would have. But even take that a step further is when we are our own biggest critics. And I'm looking at myself, I'm like, oh, my lighting is weird. Like I need to get a tan. Like I'm looking at all the things that have nothing to do with the content and this conversation. But you get like a coach or a trainer or some outside perspective looking at it, they're looking at it for what it is and not these little things that we see. And I think that's one of the coolest ways to see not only the things like, hey, this is something you do really well. You don't have to tweak it, but this is something that you should try differently. And for those of the teams that I, still work with, or we did work with, or even as I was working with, Clear Choice, we also worked with like Sono Bello is one of our biggest partners. Dentistry for Children is one of our biggest partners. The culture shift of, I want to be the best I can in the way that I'm presenting myself and my treatment to my patient. How can I get some tools to do it? Where can I learn these from? What teammates across the country can I learn these from? And you started having that type of perspective and shifted it from like, oh man, all the things that are wrong to all the things I could learn that would make me better and make it right. I think that's when it became really fun. And that's when people like started watching themselves, weren't hard on themselves, started watching each other, weren't hard on themselves. And instead of being like, I'm so scared for someone to watch my video, we're like, hey, what did I do in this consultation? Somebody help me. Like somebody watch me. I totally missed all the signs. And we've all been there. Like I missed all the signs. And I think that's where it's cool too, is you can re-look at it and be like, what did I miss? Like they were giving me yeses. They were wanting to do treatment this whole time. What happened? And being able to look on that playback, like an athlete would, of what could I have done better for next time? But what maybe can I do better to re-engage with this patient today?
Yes, re-engage. And so that brings me to the idea of, okay, so we record a consultation. In our heart of hearts, we believe we took it to the max. But again, that sometimes those blind spots. And so what I love about video recording and the fact that now I can offer this to my clients is that I really promote a all hands on deck approach. I feel like dentists specifically are very alone. They feel very alone. Like their team is there, but is their team on board with a like, look, we're going to do this. We're going to drive revenue. We're going to support each other. And if an office incorporates video coaching with medical memory, how awesome would it be in several months that during a morning huddle, they watch even a snippet of a really dynamic patient interaction that happened at the front desk? Because that's another thing, is that it's unlimited recording, but it's not even just in the consult room. Like you can use this in the op, right? Because hygienists are selling treatment.
Yeah.
We can use this over the phone. If there's someone we want to see how well they're doing as far as really taking advantage of first substantial contact over the phone. Like, are you seeing practices use this sort of all around?
100%. And I think that's, again, the tool that we built makes it so you can move. It's on an iPhone. It's on an iPad. You can have 4 iPads in your office, and it makes it really easy because it's built for hospital settings. Was originally built for doctors. So when you're taking it into a cosmetic space or a dental space, I mean, it's so adaptable in that. But I think you hit something that is interesting, is just building upon the ideal and the character of your office of, we want to give a great experience. We all want to be transparent. We're all on the same team. How can what are the strengths that we all have that we could do differently and that we could elevate in those spaces? And so even too, you talk about, for example, yourself and myself. We both did really, really well when we were consultants on the same company at Clear Choice. But your style and my style is so different. And so what are some of the things that like I can learn from you, or you can learn from me, or I can learn from the doctor, or I can learn from the front desk? Everybody has a way of communicating that they're great at, that they have friends, they have family in that space. So what are the things or the nuances that anybody could pick up from anybody in that space when you're getting that outside perspective of just different things to try? And so, and so that's where I mean, absolutely do. You can do it in the phone. You can do it with, when they're coming into the clinic. You can do it with the doctor's conversation, any of those pieces. Absolutely. But when you're talking about teams that get together and they are watching each other's videos and they are providing feedback, the tool is as powerful as the people that are utilizing it. So whether it is getting, my advice is get some trainer to say, hey, your system, as far as say, hey, these are some things you can try, then your team can keep each other accountable to these things that they're suggested to try. You get an expert coach to say, hey, this month, let's just focus on, asking needs-based questions. Let's focus on, trying to understand what a patient's saying, not just solve it immediately. Give a little direction, and then you guys can keep each other accountable on that too. And so again, the tool is only as powerful as it's being utilized, but being just self-aware and just saying, I just want to maybe just see myself and maybe what I could do better. That in and of itself is going to elevate a practice, regardless of who's watching it. Just that I'm turned on. Like this is being recorded. I'm going to give the best that I can and be self-aware about it,
I love it. I just thought of another way that I can use it with my clients. So one of the things that the E in real is establish a kindred connection. It's forcing a consultant, treatment coordinator, whatever, to step outside of the dentistry for about 10 minutes and to connect and find one commonality with that person that has nothing to do with dental. And you have to do it with every person. And I don't think that is one thing that my boot campers, people who take my boot camp, I don't think they're doing that as much as they should. There's a fear, there's a level of uncomfortableness that if I have to get too personal and I got to go down this road, that is like how I'm gonna bring them back. With this software now, if they're not doing that and they don't close the case, that to me is a huge blind spot. That's a missed opportunity because that is the trust. And some of them don't know how to do that. They think if it's a male, well, I can't establish a kindred connection. Not true. But if I see that they're struggling and I'm watching that video, I can give them suggestions on avenues that they could go to have connected with that person. You know what I mean? And so I'm missing out so much.
Yeah. Well, and what you did is, I think, again, is you're asking someone, as you said at the beginning, to do something that they may not always be comfortable with. And the more you practice anything, the better that you get at it. And so, you're referencing, this communication as far as you wanting to establish a bond that's outside of dentistry. So let's take it into something that's more basic. Like I always use golf as an example. So you don't know what you don't know. And so until you start practicing and practicing and practicing, then you start being able to tweak things. Same with the way that you communicate, is if you practice and practice and practice, then you can tweak things. But some of it is, I went out to the driving range yesterday. I want to hit 200 yards and I keep swinging, keep swinging, and it's not going. So it wasn't until someone said, hey, loosen your grip, all of a sudden, just someone else saying, this is something so little. You're so close. You're so close.
It's
just
so close.
Just loosen your grip. And then all of a sudden, but I'm practicing. I don't know if I'm practicing the things I'm supposed to. I can't get it. But this is a customized thing. And so even too, with what you just were talking about, if you're having a consultant that is just like, I'm not missing this mark, you're able to see, hey, pause before you respond and you'll find more opportunities. Or, hey, have you ever thought about writing down keywords that they say and then just asking, what do you mean by this? Or what do you mean by that? And kind of going through there. Or giving these little tools that it's maybe personal for them. And that's the thing is, it's a broad stroke of establish this, rapport building piece. But again, you and I were the best of the best. How you did it was a lot different than how I did it. We both are trying to do your E in your program, but the way we maybe went about it is a little different. And so that's where is you take a really awesome program, someone saying, hey, this is what you do. And then you elevate it by saying, now let's talk about how you're going to do it. Let me watch 10 minutes and say, loosen your grip or whatever it might be. That's customized and personal and based on their personality and their style, and I think that's something that you can't get unless you're seeing it, and having an expert like you seeing it,
One of the things that a lot of practices, front desk, people who are presenting treatment, they are craving a contest. They are craving the ability to, and I don't even think it's so much about the money. It's just, how do we wake up the office? What are your thoughts about using medical memory, using the video recording process as a way to create contests? Like, the most recorded or the most improved. Yeah. And then, kind of getting the group together for an event and really celebrating some wins, big or small.
100%.
What are your thoughts about that?
We have this gal on our team. She is amazing at working with people to make contests. So she's done like bingo, like where it's like, if you're seeing like the things that you're trying to do, the skill that you're practicing, and you see it and you do it, you get like a bingo thing. She's done like People's Choice Awards. Like, let's all watch, let's all nominate one of our own videos and then watch them together and see which one is the best example of what we're trying to do.
Oh, I love that.
Definitely, like, as you're saying, as far as with like how far people have come. I mean, outside of this space, we also are in rehab and physical therapy, different completely. But what a lot of they do is they'll record someone after like a neurological stroke after 4 months and doing physical therapy and giving them the exercises that they practice at home. And then look at how far you've come. Look at where we were and look at where we are now. And I think even that is tremendously impactful. But the thing is just as you said, is it's having fun with it, being transparent with your team, not, kind of recognizing we're all practicing skills that are different or new or unique to us. And how can we, do that in a way that is fun? So, how can we go to the driving range and laugh when we hit the ball like completely out or totally whiff it? But also, how can we celebrate when we finally loosen our grip and it goes? How can we celebrate? Oh man, I practiced on video and finally I had it. I nailed it. And I said it in a way that worked with my personality. And I think that's where, again, it's not just a tool for training. It's a culture shift in what your practice wants to be about. Are we going to be great communicators? Are we aware of the way that we're communicating? Are we going to be a team who talks about it? And are we going to be transparent in that space? And you combine all those things, there's an energy that will start to stem. And we know this because we saw this when we were consultants at ClearChoice, and we saw this when Medical Memory partnered with Sonobello, as you're seeing like a shift that starts to take place as people are owning that part and what they can learn from each other and what they can learn even washing themselves. So that was a really long answer, but yes, there's tons of contest ideas as far as to have fun with it, or get together, pop popcorn, watch a few videos one night and say, let's all just take a time to focus on that. The way that we communicate to patients is as important as the treatment we're providing them, 100%. And so it's like, if you're only doing, you could be the best dentist in America, but if you're not communicating effectively with your patients, it does not matter. And it's communicating in the way you communicate, in the way that you, sell also. It's the same. It's just good communication is going to get patients to move forward better. So being aware of that, like, that's just good medicine. That's just good practice.
It is good medicine. And the more you talk, Julie, the more I'm coming to an understanding that it's not even just necessarily about dentistry. I mean, think about all the sales professionals that, especially if you're doing some form of consultative selling where people are coming to you. I mean, this could be used essentially in any elective medical practice. So it doesn't have to be just about dentistry. I will tell you, I think plastic surgeons all day long should use this, mainly because after I had weight loss surgery and I decided, look, I know what I'm going to get done. I got skin I need to remove. I need to do this. I went to 5 plastic surgeons, met with 5 different treatment coordinators there, and no one closed me. And I told them I had cash. No one closed me until an actual plastic surgeon did the consult himself. And it makes me think, like, do plastic surgeons or anyone who owns an elective medical practice, like, do you realize how many missed opportunities are in front of you because you are not in the room to see what's going on?
Yeah.
Right? Can't this be used in different offices?
100%. And we've partnered actually with a lot of plastic surgeons. And then, I mean, in liposuction, Sonobel is one of our biggest in the cosmetic space. Yeah, but it's interesting what hit my mind when you said that is, a doctor owns their practice and they're putting a lot of trust into a consultant to communicate that ownership, that pride, that value that doctor has. They're putting a lot of trust in a consultant to be able to have that conversation effectively with a patient. And so if you don't know what they're saying and you have that's great. Like, even I'm like, just seeing them, like, if you have never ever seen the way that your consultant handles a patient and you're owning this practice, like that, like in and of itself, like definitely there's no question that you should be aware of the way that they, sell you, talk about your accolades, talk about your experience, talk about the surgery. Yes. But also the way that they're connecting with those patients too. And I think that goes back to is just what you said, is you were looking for the surgery. Like, think about cosmetic surgery, dentistry, plastic surgery, liposuction, whatever. We're asking these patients to come in to an office and to sit and express their biggest insecurity that they have about themselves, that they want changed. Like, take a step back and think about that. Like, you're asking someone to get to express their biggest insecurity, and you're the solution to fix it. And so it's like, how do you really honor that conversation and honor what someone's like giving you? And if you're not taking the time to take a sales training course or communication course or get a coach, like, you don't deserve the patient who to have that conversation effectively. Again, it goes back, you can be the best surgeon in America, but if you're not honoring someone's ability to come in and be like, this is what I'm insecure about. Like, I've had twins, like, obviously I'm like, okay, like, how would I feel going in somewhere and be like, there's just like a lot of skin. Like, I can't even imagine what I've asked so many patients to do. And so being able to have a tool where you're like, hey, I want to see, are they honoring my patients and what's coming in? How are they expressing these things to me? And how can I make sure that this experience is the best as it can be? And the sales will come. So call it sales, call it really good communication. But what are the resources that are available to me to make sure that this is the best experience this patient can have? And so again, back to a sales program like you, which covers people and treats them with empathy and teaches skills of how to be empathy, how to connect. I mean, that's like the best investment you could make in your team. How to connect, Absolutely. How to be empathetic, how to make sure that, like, how to lead with empathy, like all those things, like, and then you get someone saying, great, now let's take that to the next level based on you and how you could do it better. I think it's a real investment in the way that people perceive your practice and you
That's
know.
right. Well, I am super excited about this partnership with you guys. And I would love for, certainly if there's anyone who is watching this, that's like, you know what, I want to learn a little bit more about what this is all about as far as Real Talk offering this video coaching. Certainly you can go to realtalkselling.com. You will interact with Julie as my partner in this. And once it gets overloaded, then collectively together, we're going to be doing this work together and helping to elevate these practices. Can you, if anybody is interested in learning more about medical memory, whether it be a hospital, a practice, whatever the case may be, what is the best way for someone to reach out to you?
If you go to the website, you can fill anything out and it'll go to us, or Julie at themedicalmemory.com. You can email me just directly to learn more.
What organizations, I know you're working with very large hospitals. Who else? So you've got some corporate clients.
Yeah, Dignity Health, Common Spirit, University of Southern Florida, Virginia Mason, Children's Hospital of Orange County. Yeah, we've kind of, I mean, we're all over in that. And then a lot of private practice doctors that have, 2 doctors to 30 doctors, 45. I think we have a spine group that's 45. And then we have one that's a plastic surgeon, 1 doctor practice. We have those all over too. Dental practices, just 1 practice all over. Yeah. And so the thing, again, it's nice because you download it, you record, it's 2 clicks to record your patient, uploads off of the device onto the cloud, and you have full access to be able to watch and have all of these videos and get instant insight into what's going on. And so it's super
cool
easy.
With it. Patients are cool with signing because I remember when we did this at Clear Choice, I don't remember a patient being like, no, I don't want to sign it. Patients seemed very receptive to it because it's quality and control purposes. So
right. And that's the line. I mean, there's always some decline it. Cool. You don't have to record every patient for this to be effective. For quality assurance and training purposes, we video record our consultations. So that's what we do. Like, it's just, this is our standard practice, And so if a patient's really upset, you don't have to record them. Even if you're having a bad day, you don't have to record all the time. I mean, you can get so much from even, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 or 4 patients, whatever it might be. So it's a tool to leverage as any practice wants to. It's only as powerful as a practice uses it. But is it easy to download and easy to capture and easy to take care of? Yeah, the tech is there. I mean, our team nailed it. So it's only as useful as the doctors and the nurses and the consultants that utilize it. Now, in the hospitals, we use it differently. The patient gets a copy of the video. So that's a different thing. So that's one thing, is our hospital partners aren't using it in the training aspects. They do here and there. It's more of that the patient wants it. In the training space, you can choose not to have that be the case if you want. So I want to just clarify that when we're talking about some of those partners, they're using it so that an ICU patient gets a video update of what's going on and has access to that.
Wow. And I know, because I do want to share this, how instrumental medical memory was during COVID, when, in respect to nursing homes and where, people were not able to communicate with their loved ones. I just can't imagine how of a blessing it was for people that were not able to communicate with their loved ones. It
changed. Yeah, the world changed, and the game that your mom couldn't be right in there with you, checking on you as you're having surgery, or your spouse can't be there as you're there, and so it provided the doctor's ability to say, "Hey, this is what's going on with your patient. This is what's going on with Sarah here." And then they got access to that, and so that again, it goes back to the idea of transparency of care as it relates to hospitals. But I think, again, we all had to tweak and adjust really quickly. But you take it a step further, take a step back, even when you're going in now back to the coaching and training space, and what you're doing and what you're looking at doing with this video coaching is you can have an expert trainer in the room with you anytime you want to review any consultation you want. Like, that didn't even exist, before. And even with COVID, you're not, even as a dental practice, you're not wanting people in and out training, and like that's just not necessary. So with this technology, you can get an expert looking at it without having to be there. And I think that that's one of the things that as it's kind of growing and really grew in the training aspects after COVID is a lot of our directors and regional directors, I mean, they're just not wanting to fly like they used to. They don't want to put themselves at risk like they used to. You don't have to. Download it, use it. You don't have to necessarily even use, you need to have a model to follow, a training system to follow so you can coach to that model. But if you're a practice with 5 and you've got a regional director, that's a great, have them coach the videos. The one thing is you don't just have to run yourselves ragged running all over the country to be able to get expert feedback or pay a fortune. I mean, to fly you out to come watch me do a consultation, that's a fortune.
Oh,
and I can have you do it tomorrow if I want.
That's what I said.
It's like, well, it's a no-brainer.
Being a fly on the wall, right? Without the travel expense.
Yeah.
It cannot be beat.
It cannot be beat.
Oh, it's so good to be back together again. I appreciate you joining and really making it possible for Real Talk to be able to offer this resource, and hope that you'll be willing to circle back again. And maybe we can do this sometime soon. And last time, your website, if you could just say it out loud.
It's www.themedicalmemory. That's why I have the "the" in there. In there. So
medicalmemory.com. Okay. And if anyone is watching and you're interested in incorporating medical memory and having me as the coach, be a fly on the wall without you paying me to be in your office and to work one-on-one with your team or as a group, certainly visit www.realtalkselling.com. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. All right. You too.
Bye.